All right. So programmatic versus traditional. Typically, as speech therapists, we see on an IEP that you're receiving services, 1 40-minute period every day or individual. So what that ends up equaling out to, if you're getting services for 5 days at 30 minutes, that's going to be about 230 minutes, 3 hours, 50 minutes. Whereas our school has initiated programmatic. So I just reversed those numbers. Sorry about that. Redo. So 5 times 30 is going to give you those 240 minutes. And then you would also need group services. So the way we're working it is for 5 days, we, as a speech therapist, push into the classrooms of the school. And for 40 minutes, we provide speech services. And then we're also able to give students additional services. So written on the IEP is that it's a programmatic change. So that's why it's referred to programmatic. So we're making a change to the environment, and therefore it's quality over quantity. Are you running?
Is it?
Is it me changing it or
you have to change it? I can't. I thought I could, and I was like, wait.
Sorry about that. Programmatic belief is that there's that change to the program. So you want to fit the environment to the student. So what I get to do as a speech therapist is I get to use my time to support staffs and students during that 40-minute block. I can choose to push into a classroom, special area room. Sometimes I'll be in my office creating visuals. And what's nice is that in essence, it's really always geared towards the individual needs of the student, right? So yeah. If you've ever used a ramp to get into a building, that ramp wasn't necessarily put for you to walk through. It was for somebody with a wheelchair, but yet you're still benefiting. That's kind of how programmatic runs. That what I'm doing is essentially going to benefit the whole as well as the individual. So I get to implement it within the 811, the 15-1, and the 12-1. So Marli is my co-teacher for the 12, and we can kind of talk about how it started. It's 2 years ago it started, and what do you feel like your role is as the classroom teacher?
As a classroom teacher, so I have to provide all of the lessons for the day, obviously. And when I'm working with Kian, she's really good at embedding all the different types of language that I may not know, because my job is to teach, and I know how to teach special. I know how to teach every child, really. But I'm not a speech teacher, so I rely on her to use those programs and her knowledge in them. Like, it'd be like me trying to teach Japanese, and I don't know Japanese, but Kian does, so she could help me with that. So it's a good balance between the two of us, educationers. Is that a word?
Perfect.
Thank you.
But yeah, so being the speech therapist, it's nice that the teachers come with content, things they need help with, and then I can kind of zhuzh it up with my language and speech activities.
Like a professional.
So in the 811, I'm in the classroom and in special areas. So that's like art, gym, STEAM, music, library. And what's really been working well for us this year is I've created boom cards that I've given to all the teachers that I'm working with. So within the boom cards, it sets the routine for that day. It's the same, so it's great for kids who are in that 811 class, because they're dealing with a lot of that they need visuals, that transitions, they need routines, things like that. So what this allows us to do is we're also, every special, we're reviewing the day, the place, the who. We pack things we need, so we're reviewing body parts. Recently, I started doing WH practice. So that has been working very well for us. I did want to share some of the boom cards. So here is a little quick video of the boom cards. Days of the week. If you're not familiar with boom cards, you click it, it gives you the answer. You can review the days. Here's the where. I went ahead and took pictures of the rooms in the buildings, the teachers, and then we review saying hello and greetings. And it's just been a really nice way to embed all these questions and become repetitive, and get those great question words working with the kids.
She's even made boom cards for my morning meeting, which is very helpful because it sets the tone to our day as well. But boom cards are great if you haven't used them.
Mm-hmm. So as well as making boom cards for all the teachers, I'm able to push into the ELA and the writing blocks that really help support those major language needs during rigorous academic tasks. So here are the boom cards I made for Miss Wilkins.
Okay, there.
These, as she's the 12, the 8s have higher needs, whereas the 12s need more support in academic areas as well as social, emotional. So we do have some readers in her class, so we don't need as many visuals, things like that. So her boom cards did look a little different, which I'm showing you here. And we also enhanced social studies and science experiences. So Miss Wilkins, Marli brought the need for, they were learning about landforms and
we were doing a whole unit on all different types of landforms, and Kian had this great interactive experience. So we obviously couldn't go to the Grand Canyon, but she was able to bring the Grand Canyon to us. So as the classroom teacher, I taught them all about all the different types of landforms, what the Grand Canyon is, where the Grand Canyon is, what it would look like, why is it there, all of the meat and potatoes of that. And then Kian was able to piggyback on it, and we made a whole virtual field trip where we made an actual cardboard cutout of a plane. We made boarding classes. We talked about how you go on a plane. We then flew our plane around. We landed in the Grand Canyon. It was really just her office, but that was okay. And we had all these other games in her room. I think we had the helicopter there too.
Yes,
that one, yeah. There was a visual that the kids went on the helicopter. We saw above the Grand Canyon. Then we played at the games that she has right here. Where what was that one?
There was canyon climb, where you had to catapult the horses, which was also nice because in science the 4th grade was doing simple machines, so we learned about levers. And then the gemstone hiding game, some gemstone, I can't even think of the name, but you open up the rocks and there were shapes to match. We played like a bingo game. So it was
a lot of fun.
Easy to embed the language needs and speech as far as what each kid needed. We also were able to do what we called March Madness. We created video brackets to address those ELA concepts.
Yeah.
We both found that as working with a lot of non-readers, reading would be very frustrating. And taking out the demand of reading, we watched short videos, some with words, some wordless. And we created this March Madness bracket because the gym teacher does the basketball where they have the brackets, and everything gets smaller, smaller, smaller. So we were able to marry those two concepts and bring it to light.
This one was one of my favorite ones that we did because, like Kian said, that reading is kind of a challenge for my kids. But we were able to do it with the videos, like she said, but this was trying to teach them about theme, which is a hard thing for any child to understand. And I liked that they were able to, we did a whole thing about, we had all different types of graphic organizers with this too for them. And I like that we were able to work together with, they're still understanding the concept of what theme was, but bringing it to what they need on their level, like through the videos, which I thought was really good. And they were really into voting. And as you can see, Piper was the best short video clip. And if you haven't seen it, you should go watch it.
And then so what the students needed was the ELA concepts, and what I brought to the table as a speech therapist was thinking outside the box as far as like bringing the videos. I was able to create this Canva because Marli was tied up teaching and I had the programmatic time. So this is how I was able to utilize it to benefit the whole class. We also did a lot of book clubs, so we were able to find modified reading. Again, Marli would find the books or figure out what she wanted to do with the class. And then again, I was able to find the visuals, bring in the language, help support vocabulary. A big thing that we like to do is she will read and I will draw the pictures on a whiteboard quick because the students are struggling to visualize. So by me drawing quick, we were able to kind of support their comprehension together. Another favorite thing I like to do is I create videos in lieu of social stories. So we work with an older population, 3rd to 6th grade. TikToks and Reels are really cool. So we find like trending audio or whatever, and we can put that in for our students to help support what they may need and better do. So social videos have really been a hit in the 12 as well as the 8, and is something of my bread and butter.
Yes, I agree. I think that I personally would never have thought to make a social story in a video form. I will write them, but I never thought to do it. And the last couple of years, the kids really took to the videos. Like they were in my morning meeting. We would watch it every day. And even towards the end, they kind of took ownership of it and wanted to create their own. And like they would write scripts kind of for themselves and we would practice it. So just seeing them be able to make it their own and be accountable for it I would have never been able to do that on my own. It was all Kian working with me to do it.
And there's always a ton of IEP goals that you can really target if you're making a video, because then it's that like you have to answer a lot of WH questions, you have to sequence something, you have to plan it out, make it simple for others to understand. So we were always really working the IEP goals into all our lessons. I also had the opportunity to work with 4th grade 15-1. So 15-1 is that there's 15 students to 1 teacher assistant. Again, in this classroom, I help support their language needs during rigorous tasks. We were reading The War with Grandpa. So again, I supported them with summarizing, making inferences, critical thinking, and WH questions. As a speech therapist, it's always hard to be silent, but what I have found through Programmatic is that during a read aloud, what you should really be doing is listening and watching the students. You can kind of tell when they're not getting something. You can ask a question to the teacher to help reinforce that idea. So just because you're not always doing like a more speechy type activity doesn't mean that you can't be useful. So that would be one of my takeaways from today, is that if you're a speech therapist and you're looking to help support teachers, that it's okay to be observing and seeing what the classroom needs, and you don't always have to be talking.
Silence is golden.
Again, so this teacher happened to come to me.
Too.
Yes, I do a lot of repeats. This particular teacher came to me and was really struggling with word problems with her students. They just weren't getting it. So I knew that the root of word problems is words and vocabulary. So being the speech teacher, I felt this was a great opportunity to help these students. So there is this unlock it number match game. I created an escape room. You have to unlock the locks. So they would read a word problem. We taught them the cube method where you're circling clue words.
Circling the numbers, underlining the question, boxing keywords, writing your equation, and then solving.
So there's, if you Google it, you'll find it. But this was a great opportunity to help my students with vocabulary, following directions, sequencing steps. And I know you're probably thinking like, oh, kids hate math. It's so hard. Every student begs me to bring this game back. They beg. They're like, when are you coming back? Bring it back. They absolutely love it. So big recommend on the Unlock It escape room.
I agree.
So another point that has really helped support all my teachers is reflexive questioning. I know Marli doesn't even know she does it anymore because that's how embedded it is after working together for 2 years. So reflexive questioning is really when we want to help fix a response and when we want to help a student repeat a well-executed response. So rather than telling the student what to do, you really want to like hone their brain into thinking for themselves. So by bringing their thoughts to what they should be doing or what's going to happen next is what a reflexive question is. So some of my go-tos are here. What's the plan is always my favorite because that's like, it's just open-ended and kind of lets the kid take ownership for whatever they need. And I know it's been successful.
It has been very successful. It is. These are also ones that I use all the time. I'm more right now because I have a very chatty class at the moment. So I find myself telling them or asking them a lot, like, where are your thoughts right now if they're talking about something that is completely off topic and I'm trying to get them back. I will often ask them, or even adults that are in my room who might be having side conversations when they shouldn't be, because as a 12-on-1 teacher, there's a lot of adults constantly in your room. So it works for everybody, students, children, anybody, adults, teachers, principals, anybody. You could say it to anybody and it kind of catches them off guard a little bit. But I think it's very helpful, and where are your thoughts is one of my favorite ones right now. And is this important right now?
And always a wait and a pause to give them that processing time. Processing time is about 90 seconds. So, a little speechy fun fact. All right, so we've been doing this for 2 years, and we were blessed enough that Marli and I really just work very well together. So we hit the ground running on day 1. So in 2 years, we had a student move 9 reading levels. So by pushing into the word study, I was always able to help support speech needs from a reading standpoint. I know sometimes there would be a misarticulation and Marli would be able to like look at me and be like, oh, what are we doing about that? And I was able to jump in right when that was happening. So there was like no need to wait days on end
or hours like you were in it.
Therapy session. It was nice to really work the issue out as it happened. We eliminated and lessened a lot of behavior plans. I think the number might be 2.
I think it's 2.
2, right? We're standing at 2. Pretty good. We have 2 students anticipated to move back to the 15-1 when they're moving to high school. And we have a lot of students who are independently implementing all of these strategies that we want them so badly to do. So Programmatic has really worked for the classes that we've been in.